When we see a place like the Convent San Tanco and realize it's been there and active for nearly 400 years, we just sort of assume the church owns the place. We assume incorrectly.
Built in 1572 on land granted by King Philip of Spain to the de Cordova family, who rented it to us. The rent was only $1 a year, and at those prices, nobody was complaining. There was only one catch. Every 99 years, the lease had to be renewed.
Hold on. He gave the land to this family instead of to the church, and he was fine letting them charge the sisters rent? I know I tend to be a little slow when it comes to money matters, but at $1 a year, what's the point of owning the land? You can bet they've paid taxes on it all these centuries, and in return, it's brought them $1 at a time. I get what the idea is. For legal purposes, you have to have a lease and blah-de-blah. Was it really worth it? And now another of your descendants has to renew this meaningless lease. I don't understand.
He will not renew the lease?
But there is a bright side to the picture.
There is?
Senor de Cordova is willing to give you a reasonable time to get out.
And, what is his idea of a reasonable time?
Say, 3 weeks?
He's giving them 3 weeks to move 400 years of tradition and service, knowing that he's blindsiding them with this and it's impossible to find somewhere to go in 3 weeks. Although his family is supposed to be filthy rich, so maybe he doesn't know what it takes because he has underlings to do that sort of thing for him. Sister Bertrille is determined to correct that oversight. She says he probably doesn't even realize what we do here. We need to invite him to see the place and see us.
We've got to bring him here and let him know what wonderful people we are. And how humble.
Sometimes you have to toot your own horn because somebody else is trying to put a stopper in it. They write to Senor de Cordova and he agrees to visit. Captain Fomento has a slightly different view of this whole thing.
Does it not seem strange to you, sister, that suddenly, after 400 years, a member of the de Cordova family should appear and claim this property?
I'll spare you. He thinks this guy is probably an imposter out to fleece the convent out of what? They have nothing. But he's going to grab onto that idea and carry it around with him for most of the episode. On the appointed day, the sisters are all gathered to meet Senor de Cordova. And there he is. It'll take him a few tries to convince them that he's Senor de Cordova, but he is. He relates the story, and the short version is his grandfather and his dad made some terrible investments and lost all the family's money. His donkey cart and this place are all he has left.
But a carload of cobblestones to patch up the courtyard. Some new tiles for the roof. It has to be painted, of course.
Yes. Well, other than that, I think the convent's in pretty good shape, don't you think?
Oh, I couldn't ask for better tenants. And believe me, sister, wherever you go, I give you the best of references.
Thanks a lot.
I can see it now. In 400 years, they were never late with a rent payment. Good risk.
I'm a pious man, and it breaks my heart to make you leave, but what else can I do?
Yeah. Well, I suppose after you sell the convent, you'll be a rich man again.
Oh, no, sister. I don't want to be rich again or ever. At my age, what do I need with wealth? I'm 68 years old.
Well, these days, that's just a junior senior citizen.
If 68 was a junior senior citizen in 1969, that means that in 2022, my 69 years make me still middle-aged. I'll take it.
No, sister. A warm bed, some good food, peace, quiet, a place for my donkey. That's all I ask.
Sister Bertrille has the perfect solution to all this. He can live in the gardener's cottage. It's private, it's not technically in the convent, so this doesn't violate any rules, and it keeps him happy, so maybe he'll renew the lease. He likes the idea and moves in immediately.
For 30 years, I live alone in a little fishing village.
While he waited for our lease to expire.
Now I have all of these and a wonderful family, too. Although I always wanted boys.
Take it from a former boy who's now the father of 3 girls. No, you didn't.
The new lease.
Oh, yes, of course, of course.
Is something wrong?
Perhaps I should wait.
Wait?
For what?
Well, you see, sister, in case this arrangement between us does not work out, I cannot wait another 99 years to get my property.
You shouldn't need to. You said all you need is a little place to keep warm and eat your meals. One phone call to Carlos and they can build you one in a day. I think Fabio there needs to see a chiropractor. He's got a serious case of craniorectal inversion.
Good morning, Fabio.
Good morning, Sister Bertrille.
Did you sleep well?
Like a baby.
Good.
For about 1 hour.
What was the matter?
It takes a little while to get used to a new bed.
Is there something wrong with it?
Oh, no. It's not the mattress' fault that it don't fit me.
She says we can try to get you a better one, and he says, oh no, don't go to any trouble.
But if you're going to get another mattress, a little longer, medium firm.
Well, at least she brought him a nice hot breakfast.
Poached eggs?
You don't like poached eggs?
Oh, what's the difference as long as it's nourishing?
Tell me, what kind of eggs do you like?
No, sister, I don't want you to bother.
Listen, what's a family for if not to bother every now and then?
Well, if you insist, make it a Spanish omelet with onions. No pepper.
That's just for starters. He'll be telling Sister Sisto how to season the food, telling the sisters how to trim the plants. He doesn't want to be any trouble, but he's the biggest meddler they've ever had there. And they want to keep him happy at least until he signs that lease, so they're all bending over backwards. All except Captain Fomento, who still thinks he's a fake.
Captain, everything is going just fine. Please don't upset things.
Oh, do not worry, Sister Betrayal. Captain Fomento is like a shadow. He walks with the lightest of steps.
It's easy to walk quietly when you're walking over a thick layer of manure with your face.
You see? If he can do this to me, can you imagine what he can do to you?
He could look where he's going and all kinds of questionable stuff. The sisters have just about had it with Fabio, but they're afraid to talk back to him because of that freaking lease.
Hello, Fabio.
You're taking a little stroll, sister. Don't let me disturb you.
It gets worse when he wants to watch wrestling instead of the symphony. They just realize the problem. This is a lonely old man with nothing to do. Deal with him accordingly.
Well, you said you used to have a fishing boat. This is the same ocean with barrels of fish in it.
But on my fishing boat, I did not fish. I used to take out the tourists so they could fish.
Well, that's even a better idea. Why don't you bring your boat to San Tanco and do the same thing here?
Well, sister, I would like to, but...
You would? Terrific.
Except my boat sank last year.
Then forget the boat, do tours of the waterfront and the marketplace. But he has a different idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are on the grounds of the famous Convent San Tanco. And you are standing on the left top where the Father John Lafitte buried a fortune in gold. But we have no time to dig for it now.
It's not often Reverend Mother Placido, which means peaceful, blows a gasket. This is one of those rare times.
We must remain calm. We must keep our cool, as Sister Betrayal would say.
We will visit the nuns' sleeping quarters.
That is the end of my cool.
And that's one of the rare things that'll make it happen.
Sisters, we are going to tell Senor de Cordova that we are vacating the premises.
The higher-ups won't have much trouble finding places for them to go temporarily, and since they live austere lifestyles, there's not much to pack. Church workers from the mainland can pack up the altar and everything else and put it into storage. It can be done in his 3-week window. They would just rather not. They like it here. It's home. But when someone is invading your home twice a day in large groups and you can't stop them, it's time to move. Meanwhile, Captain Fomento has been at the library reading up on Senor de Cordova's family. He's going to catch the imposter making a mistake.
Especially of your father, Signor, I forgot his first name.
Sebastian.
Correct.
Okay, that was a gimme. Try something a little more esoteric. He's going to trip this guy up.
Signor, do you know what I think was the most interesting thing about your father? The strawberry birthmark on his left shoulder.
Right shoulder, Capitan.
Or not. He's exactly who he claims to be, unless he isn't. The captain is determined to prove it.
Momentarily, I am waiting for a communication from a distant cousin of yours, one Mercedes de Cordova, who now lives in San Juan.
And how does this concern me?
This may open the door, Senor de Cordova, to something I have been most suspicious lately. Hasta luego.
There's an idea. He has relatives here. Go hang with them. And by the way, Captain, that's the closet. I hope he didn't see my blow-up doll in there. How does one tell a cop no, you can't borrow it? Captain Fomento just got that evidence he mentioned. It's time to unmask the imposter.
Here is the real Senor Fabio de Cordova.
We've seen Jay Novello many times, most prominently as Romany dad Emilio Barberini on F Troop. Yes, I know they called them gypsies in the episode. We've learned a few things since the 60s. Mr. Novello was one of those steady character actors who made the main cast look good, the kind I've mentioned many times. Without these people, television would have been much poorer quality. When you watch this episode, take special note of the way he plays off the sisters and they play off him. He knew how to make that happen in almost any setting and with almost any cast. He was in constant demand throughout his career, which is a fact that speaks for itself. And now that the captain is finished with his little interruptions, Sister Bertrille is off to tell the real Fabio that they're moving.
He's not here. All his things are gone.
What is this?
It's addressed to the Reverend Mother.
He's just letting her know he's gone into town to make arrangements to turn the fountain into an Olympic-sized swimming pool. When he's done, he'll have the most unique resort on the island because he's leaving the sisters' cells the way they are. Tourists dig that ascetic vibe.
I know that Captain Fomento is on to me and the fact that 30 years ago I committed a crime. For my crime, I would get at least 20 years in jail. Since I will not live that long and do not want to cheat the government, I am leaving San Tanco forever. Fabio. P.S. I am deeding the convent to the church. And here is the deed.
That takes care of that. Except for one thing, he forgot to sign it. Since he travels by donkey cart and hasn't been gone that long, Sister Bertrille won't have a hard time catching up to him. He's happy to sign the deed. But now she wants to know, and he wants to tell her.
Many years ago, a young woman fell in love with me. She had money, but no family name. I had a family name, but no money. A perfect match. But the night before the wedding, I left San Tanco.
That's a crime?
When I left, I took the young woman's dowry with me.
That's a crime.
But now in his advancing years, he's realizing what's important.
Now I'm going to her, and if she will have me, we will be married. And then I will no longer be a criminal.
And if she has already married another, I shall have him eliminated, and then we will be married. Of course she waited for him for 30 years. Who wouldn't? And by the way, you're talking about grand larceny 30 years ago. I'm pretty sure there's an expired statute of limitations on that. Somebody tell Captain Fomento.
We got a postcard from Fabio.
Oh, how wonderful. What does he say?
He says, "Dear sisters, I thought you would like to know that I have found my Sarita and we will be married within the month. We are planning to visit San Tanco."
Oh, how nice. Maybe we'll get to see them.
Yes, I think so, because he wants to spend his honeymoon in our gardener's cottage.
The cottage is cramped even for one person. He plans to do a lot of snuggling and such.
P.S. Please don't go to any trouble. Even though Sarita is allergic to gas heat, don't bother to remove the heater unless it's convenient. And if you happen to have a double bed around the place.
Sure, Sister Fidget has one because she tends to flop around a lot when she sleeps, and Sister Duermo, who lives below her, got tired of being awakened in the middle of the night to someone going thud on the floor above her. And since she was awake, she had to be the one to grab the first aid kit. I'm sure the two of them can do without it for a week. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. I know I tend to be a little... He could look where he's going and all kinds of stuff. How do you tell a cop, no, you can't borrow it? How do you tell a cop? How do you tell a cop? An Olympic-sized swimming. See, it's your fault for not being here.